All right, welcome to OnSet. I am Daniel Norton. Let me know if you can hear me fine and all that's good. I'm once again here by myself. Well, not here by myself. I have the lovely Marissa, who will be out in a moment. She's getting ready with her holiday sweater. Today we're gonna do a little bit of DIY lighting, as it would be. We're like the DIY channel, right? The home channel. So I do this workshop once in a while because two reasons. One is because sometimes we don't always have the stuff, and I always get the question whenever I'm using the gear I use, can I do it with this? What if I only have this? And I think sometimes people fixate a little bit too much on that part of it. So this is kind of the, let's just see what we can do when we have the minimum stuff that you might have. But I also do it because this is a true test of the mechanics of photography. Like, if we understand photography, can we make a good shot with just about anything? So maybe that's the same thing. I'm gonna handle this two different ways. We're gonna basically, so I went to the hardware store yesterday. Those on my Patreon saw my little shopping. And I bought a few things. Actually, I went to like a little plaza near my house, and I went to the hardware store, I went to the party store, and I went to the dollar store. And I just said, I'm gonna spend like 50 bucks, and I'm just gonna get some stuff. And we're gonna assume on one level that that's all we have, you know, save some stands and stuff, because I don't wanna deal with that, and I have safety first here, so I'm not gonna, you know, starting to string lights around. So be safe if you do this at home. So I'm gonna see what we can create just using that. The other thing I'm gonna do, which is probably a more common situation, is I'm going to use just a single speed light, and we're gonna use some DIY stuff just to modify it. So we'll play around, we'll get some fun shots, and we'll go from there. Ask questions and give answers also if you can. So let me check the chat to make sure you can actually hear me. All good here. We can hear you. You can come out, Marissa. People like to look at you. Marissa's here. Woo! Jacksonville is AR Arizona or Arkansas? That's Arizona, right?
No, Arizona's AZ.
Really? So it's Arkansas.
Although I thought
No.
Arkansas was AZ.
I don't know. Let us know, Jacksonville. Let's see. Brooklyn Softbox is exactly. It's 5 p.m. on the East Coast, USA, New Zealand. 2302 in Germany. Welcome, my German watchers. No, I don't have balloons. By the way, I was at the dollar store, and I did learn, by the way, that all good DIY sessions start with going to the dollar store from Seth. So, and I saw balloons there, and I thought, I could totally use balloons, make up a funny name for it, and say that I created that style. Dan Loons. But I didn't do it. I said I got little Chinese lanterns, so like the paper lanterns. So we'll play with those a little bit, and we'll go from there. So let's do this. All right, so as usual, I will say the equipment I'm using. Most of it's going to be DIY stuff, but as I'm going to shoot today with the Nikon Z6ii with the 24 to 120 lens, and I'm going to end up using a Profoto A10 flash. I'll take a sip here. All right, well, Manfrotto Y video says, hi, Marissa.
Hi.
11 p.m. in Nigeria, Canada. All right. All right, here we go. So thanks everybody for waiting for this, by the way. I was feeling under the weather a couple weeks ago when we were supposed to do this. So if you missed that one. Also, I got a bunch of PMs and people writing to me about the black and white one. I think because there was so many technical difficulties, that being crashing and stuff, that just isn't gonna come back, but we'll do another one after the first of the year. So for those that are interested in that, we'll do that. Because those were good shots. Marissa already got the shots, so. All right, so come stand in your spot. All right, so normally when we do something like this, we do stuff like setting up the camera so none of this light in the space is gonna affect our shot. Well, unfortunately, we don't have with us, oh, let me talk about the stuff I have. So I have 3 different types of lights. If you've ever seen me do this one before, I usually use things like tungsten lights, but you can't buy tungsten lights anymore. These are shop lights. There was like 25 bucks. I got a pack of 2. They claim to be very bright LEDs. I also got these 100-watt replacement LED bulbs and this 300-watt bulb, 300-watt bulb equivalent, right? The beauty of LEDs, by the way, is this only burns out 33 watts, and these only use like 10 or 14. So what you get is, used to be, because remember, we want to have a decent amount of light so we can control our space. If we're using tungsten lights or even fluorescent, we're drawing a lot of electricity and they can get hot. With LEDs, we're not going to have that problem. So this is very good. What I didn't get was anything that was color changing because there was nothing that was reasonably priced. The other thing that I did was I couldn't get the thing I was normally going to get, which was those, those little pan lights with the bulb in the middle, the place with the bulb in the middle. They don't sell those anymore. But what they do sell, which is really interesting, is this thing. I don't know if you can see this. It's basically a socket. Yeah, you can see that. It turns into a plug. Just get my light bulb in, and we're going to use an extension cord. We're really making this happen today. And we're going to see what we can get with this. I'm going to start with the weakest light first, and we'll see if we can make anything work with this. And then we'll go up progressively in power, eventually ending with this thing. And at the end, if you stick around to the end, I have a homemade beauty dish, which Marissa has seen. It is
worth the wait, trust me.
It could be the most epic fail ever or the most amazing thing. So, all right, let's get rid of this. It's pretty bad. All right, how do I get rid of this? Doop. X, okay, good. Oh, no, that's not what I want to do. I will figure this out. Let me just set this up so we don't have to we don't have to stop when we get going. This is why it's good when Seth's here. Well, there's many reasons why it's good when Seth's here, but that's one of the reasons. All right, that should give us good. All right, so I'm going to set this up. We're going to have to turn off the lights in the space, so this could get a little hairy. I will repeatedly come back. All right, here we go. Oh, also, I got a few other things. At the dollar store, I got parchment paper. Now, parchment paper, I've seen people talk about using wax paper. Wax paper will melt. Regular paper will very likely set on fire if you use much heat. Parchment paper, though, that's made for cooking is fine. It is flammable, but it can handle a lot of heat. So if you're going to get something for diffusion material, for $1, I got this parchment paper. Pretty good, right?
That's actually a great tip.
Yeah, not bad. And we can make cookies later.
So, would you use that as like it won't burn if you put it on a light thermal shooter?
Right, it'll get browned up a little bit, but it should not burn.
Great tip.
Yeah, because you put them in the oven. Did you made cookies on parchment paper before?
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
I'm sure what I have. But
And your oven's quite warm. All right, so I have this old extension cord. You know it's an old extension cord because it has a piece of twine on it. I got this from my house. We are definitely using some DIY stuff here today. By the way, this is so great that this is LEDs because otherwise I'll probably burn my fingers. All right, here we go. Dun, da, da, da. Da, 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 da. All right, so we know that if we take, actually, let me do it this way. This could be a great comedy of errors. All right.
Can you imagine you hire someone for a photo shoot and they come out with this? Like, yeah, I'm right.
Listen, if somebody hires you for a photo shoot and you show up and you do this, you better get good shots. That's all we're going to say. All right. We'll kill this, and we'll see what we got. Oh, that's not bad. All right. So we have our bulb. I know it's blocking Marissa's head. I'm just going to use the C-stand. This weighs nothing, so we're not going to worry about a sandbag or anything. And we're just going to bring it in. I know I'm lighting it from the wrong side, but people get mad when I light from that side because they can't see you.
Oh, that's my good side.
I know it's your good side, but they don't care. All sides are good sides of Marissa. All right. I'm already feeling good about this. This is feeling pretty positive. Oh boy. All right, so what I'm going to do here, hopefully, is I'm going to bring this camera in. We're going to go to about 70 degrees, I think. 70 millimeters, I should say. I'm going to go over here. We're going to go capture one. I'm going to look through my camera. It is very dark. We can see that. All right, so I'm going to back a bit. So I'm going to go to f4. And what we're going to do, I don't want to go much slower than 1/125th of a second if I can, because I'm photographing a person, and she might move. So I'm going to use my ISO. Now, one problem we're going to have here is going to be that the color is going to be really weird, right? So we'll definitely have to deal with that. Okay. Now, because we're using this little tiny Chinese lantern, we can see that we don't have a whole lot of, by the way, if you think that it's not doing anything, or that you're wondering what it's doing, I'm very sophisticated here. Because I think oftentimes when we do this, people are like, that's not doing anything. All right, so you saw it with nothing. Now we see it's with something. Okay, so we can see what this is doing. It's you know, it's almost exactly the same size as Marissa's head, right? But it's not super close to her, so it's not really soft, but it's decently soft. And what we can do is we can move it in as close as possible, but for two reasons, right? One is that the closer it is, the brighter it'll be, right? Inverse square law. And the second reason is the closer it is, the quicker the fall off will be. That is also part of the inverse square law. And the third reason is the closer it is, the more control we have, the brighter it is. Did I say all three of those things already?
Yeah.
Although the bigger it will be, which means we'll make it softer. All right, so this is why I cut off people's heads, because that way I can get in close enough. All right, so I'm not gonna worry about color. Let's just take a shot and see what this looks like. Okay, perfect. All right, we're gonna go over here. I do have the right thing on, right? Okay. All right, this is actually not terrible. Not terrible. Yeah, it's sharp, right? A 1/125th of a second. You can see Marissa's got the holiday shirt on. It looks nice. The color is way off, obviously, right? So there's a few things we could do. Number one, let's trust in advertising. I'm going to look at the back of this box, and it's going to tell me. I'll stand over here so I'm in the light. Light appearance. What does it say?
2700 Kelvin.
2700 Kelvin. So to your average person buying a light bulb in the store, they're like, what does that even mean? There was no other thing in the box. I took both bulbs out. We know what that means, right? So let's go to our camera. I'll do it at the camera. And let's set our Kelvin. Let's see, we're gonna set our Kelvin mode. I don't think you can see this even if I do this. Let me see. If you can see it, then I'll let you see it. Nope, you can't see anything. You just see Marissa. Okay, so I'm using my menus, my I menu. I'm going to set the Kelvin to 2700, and let's see how accurate this is. All right, that's not bad. It looks a little cool for me. So it doesn't seem to be exactly perfect, but that gets us somewhere in the range. So let's finesse this a little bit. Let's go in here. And unfortunately you can't see it. I don't think you can see it anyways as I'm changing it. Maybe you can. No, you can't, okay. But I can. The camera allows me to kind of see what's happening. So I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna bring it to, that's funny, it doesn't do that. Okay, I'm gonna bring it to 3000. That looks a little better. All right, so let's take a shot at 3000. Okay. And here we have something with a much better white balance. Again, much like, yeah, you can see me. You can't really see me, I'm a silhouette. I'm a silhouette. Much like, you don't need to see me. You can look at Marissa. Much like a light meter. I know people hate when I say this. I'm gonna be controversial. Let me turn the light on so I can be controversial. I am now going to be controversial. Much like a light meter, the numbers on the box just give you an idea of where it should be. You make the decision. The box says 2700, I say 3000. The light meter might say 5.6 and I might say f4.375.
Rebel.
Because I am a rebel. All right, so that looks pretty decent. I think we're done actually. That was pretty good.
Happy
All right, thanks guys, that was.
Happy Hanukkah.
No. When is Hanukkah this year? Do you know, or you just wore the shirt?
It's the
Sorry about that. I had a little coughing fit there because Marissa made me laugh. I blame her entirely. Okay, so we know when it is, the 19th, which is coming up soon, so we got to get set something. DIY Nikon DSLR using 2 bits of glass and a bunch of computer chips. All right, this is not bad though, right? Use that kind of light socket with a bulb flash would light up party hall by putting them in. Yes. So right, they used to have these, they probably still do. They used to just call them slave strobes. I'm not sure if they use that term anymore. But basically they look like light bulbs, but they're little flashes. You screw them in and when another flash fires, they fire. Now I think maybe remote or something like that, or automatic or synchronized would be a better name.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. So like if anything flashed, the light flashed?
That's right, if anything flashed. And the recycle was very slow, which meant that if you had them in a wedding hall and somebody shot a flash next to it, it would go off too, which was fun to mess up their photos, but not so fun if yours didn't fire. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna show you how I make all the products in Adorama Store. Yeah, there we go. All right, here we go. This looks pretty darn good, I think, but let's make it a little bit, I was gonna use a reflector, but I don't think it needs a reflector. Let's add a second light. We all know that the more lights you use, the more you get paid. And the best part about this shot right here, let me just show you, is all that Uncle Bob that like saw you setting this up and was like, oh, that's a professional photographer. And then they're gonna see that and they're just gonna be like, yeah, Uncle Bob. All right.
Yeah, Uncle Bob.
Why is there always an Uncle Bob? And why is he always like that? We're not sure. All right, let's set up a hair light. So let me switch the cameras. Oh, that one's a little overexposed. Oh, I guess because that light's on. I mean, she's a little bright, but that's okay. We're gonna set up this hair light. Again, obviously you could use just about anything for this. You could string these up. You could use a chair. I'm just using stands because it's safer for us for the demo. But, by the way, I'll also point out, as cool as these, oh, did I show you the 300 watt one? Oh, 300 watts.
Whoa!
We might not need it. I was thinking the 100 watts weren't gonna be bright enough, but I gotta tell you, we're doing pretty good. All right, so, I mean, there's people that never shoot below like ISO 1600. Those people are loving it today. What am I set at? I'm at 800. That's like video standard. By the way, these were like $3. Oh, you can't see me. These were like $3 now. When I used to buy them for $1. Back when I was a kid.
See, I thought $3 was a deal.
Oh man, they used to be like $1.
You know, we should have done holiday lights.
I thought about getting little twinkle lights, but then when I bought them, I set them up in my house.
Oh yeah.
I have some twinkle lights in my house. I must admit, they're very nice. Also, the idea I got from Seth, when Seth first set up his stuff during COVID, I was like, man, you have these little twinkly lights like a teenage influencer. And he was like, that's right, I do. And then I was like, can I have some? And
He influenced you.
He influenced me.
Like a teenager.
Like a teenager, exactly. I am definitely the follower. Yeah, all right, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna plug this one in using the classic brown extension cord. Now, I would give you some kind of like line about how I'm using 2 different color extension cords so I know which light is in which one. Yeah, that's why I did it, I swear. That's actually not a bad idea. All right, so light number 2. I'm just using these paper lanterns because they were literally the most expensive thing I bought for $7. That's not true. The work light was more expensive.
So you spent less than $50 on all this stuff?
I did. Less than $50. I know. I am cheap.
No excuse not to get an amazing photographer then now.
That's right. For $50, we better nail something here. All right, so let's switch over here again. Nope, that didn't work. Oh, I did it again. Oh, I lost my picture-in-picture. I always do that. Sorry guys, give me a second. I always screw up the picture-in-picture. There's a way to get it back, and I don't know. Every single time I mean to ask how to do it. I should know how to do this, by the way. This is my system, but I don't. All right, so we have our 2 lights set up. Once again, the heat in the place is on, so it's good. Let's turn off these overheads. We don't even need them on anymore. We can really see. I'm gonna look through the camera again. All right, let's see. All right, so here's where we have a little bit of issue here. Number one is that we don't have a whole lot of control, both in its power and in where it goes, right? So it's a little bit brighter than I want it to be, but it's also spreading out more. And if I back it up to make it less bright, it will then spread even more as far as getting ours. So I can't have everything I want with this particular setup. So, you know, I was ready to abandon all my lights and just go to these, but now I'm thinking, you know, maybe they're not ideal. Oh, we can see it in the shot. We'll leave it in. I'm a rebel like that. Why is this not switching to the eye when I do that? Let's see. I want to switch to the eye thing. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's neat. Apparently when you pull the screen out, oops, I also pressed the wrong button so it's focused on the background. Hold on a second. I was trying to fix the screen and I pressed the wrong button. There we go. Oh, nope, plugged it, punched in. Hold on, here we go. Oop, sorry, you weren't ready. We'll nail this eventually. There we go. I added it to that mode where like you touch it and it takes a picture. All right, let's see. All right, she's in an environment. We got a little bit of a hair light. Yeah, you know, I don't like it in the shot. It's too plain. Unless we do something in the background to jazz it up. Should we jazz up the background a little bit?
Oh, I love jazz.
We're gonna jazz it up. All right, here we go. I also have, am I getting ahead of myself? I might be. Defiant. All right, Garrett, close your eyes. Oh my God. Wow, all right. Well, this is good, all right. This is exactly what I wanted.
Jazz?
All right. Feeling pretty positive here, guys. If there's anything that we like to have around here, it is a blue background, and I think we're about to achieve it. We've got our Defiant light on the background. I'm gonna switch over here. I don't even know what it looks like. I'm just showing you guys right. Oh yeah, that's not bad.
Oh.
Not bad. Now, what we will notice here, I think, is a couple of things. Number one, actually, not as much as I thought. But because the light is going to bounce around, we are going to get a little bit of this blue infiltration on her. But I actually think her skin tone still looks good. So I think I'm going to tweak the color temperature a tiny, tiny bit here. Remember that we brought it to 3000. I think I want to bring it down to 2900. That will make the background less blue, but it'll also make her skin a little warmer. That just comes from experience. All right, let's see. Oh, you're getting compliments on your sweater.
Oh, thank you.
This light is crazy bright. And by the way, you can actually control it. Actually, so the Defiant light is, I mean, I don't know if these are, I'm not sure you can get these anywhere else but the hardware store, but this light is 2000 watts, it says.
Wow.
Equivalent.
Jeez.
So,
That's amazing.
yeah, it's pretty bright. And it's got like USB in the back.
How much were those?
25 bucks for the set. That was the most expensive thing I bought. I got two of them for 25 bucks. All right, so we're gonna do this. I'm gonna come in a little closer. I'm gonna clear the background a little bit. All right. Good, here we go. Got a little bit of a flyaway hair on your right side.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, but otherwise, pretty nice. Otherwise, pretty nice.
Okay, fly away. Fly away, gone. Fly away, home.
Aha! How come we cut off the top of your head, Marissa? Marissa is, we have a contract, whereas if we show the entirety of her head, then we're only paying based on the percentage of her head that we show. So we don't show her entire head.
This is the money.
Yeah, the money, the most expensive part of the head is the top. Okay, so that looks pretty good. That's actually pretty impressive. I'm going to be honest, this is actually better than I thought it was going to be.
You're a baller. What can you say?
So this is the perfect time for us to screw it up. No, let's actually, I want to try this 300 watt bulb now. I do have one more lantern. Oh, that's what I'm going to do.
Red lantern.
It's a red lantern.
Oh.
Now, unfortunately, they do not have an assorted pack, which I think would have been nicer. So I had to buy 3 red ones. I'm not going to use 3 red lanterns. I'm going to use one of these adapters. I'm going to put this crazy 300 watt bulb in it. Now, this is probably not a good idea, because we all know that what makes for saturation is exposure. So if this is the brightest light, this is probably going to blow this out. It's going to make it too bright. So we're not going to put it in here, because why would we screw up live in front of a studio audience? Instead, I'm going to put the red lantern on one of the weaker lights so we get better red saturation. So let me put it over here. Left for me.
You're so small.
Yep. Yes, this is one of the most common questions I get, which is when people use gels, they're not saturated, and that's because you're overexposing them probably.
Interesting.
Yep.
I didn't even know that.
There you go. Now you know. And you're either overexposing it or you're letting some of your clean light get into your gel light. Those are the 2 reasons why gel generally isn't. And you know what we're going to do? We're going moody. This is happening. We're doing colored shadows instead. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what the camera's on, so I'm not sure if they can see us or not. I've lost all control. No, they can. Yeah, see, the people who are watching, the one over in the back is the red one. You can't even tell anymore, right? But let's do this. And we can see that we've now got this reddish color on her. So let's do this first. Show what that looks like. Yeah, look towards the red. Down, good. All right. So we can see now that we've got, and obviously there's different colors. You could get yellow or blue or whatever, but we can see, because it's not quite the same exposure, we're getting that saturation. If that was bright, then it wouldn't go red for us. So you need to watch that. Okay, it's not going to burn because, yeah, unless it's 451 Fahrenheit. That is a really, yes, prize to you. So, right, so that, good questions here. It's not burning, right. These are LED bulbs. They do not get very hot. They're 100 watt equivalent, but they're basically 14 watt bulbs. Now, it is close to the side, but it's not touching the side. If you had it touching the paper, eventually it would probably burn through. So be a little wary there. This one's 300 watts, which is 33 watts equivalent. I'm gonna have to be more careful with this one, which I will be. Let me get everything else rigged up first. We're gonna make this one our key light, actually. So I'm gonna swap this with this one. Hold it for me.
Whoa, it's heavier than I thought.
Yeah, right. I know, right? I was surprised by that as well.
I have an idea.
We have to use this one because it was the most expensive bulb. That bulb was $15. So like $40 of the total cost of everything was that 2 light set and that 1 big bulb. Everything else was like, these were $7. All right, maybe I spent a tiny bit more than $50. I might have spent $60.
Wow.
Yeah, but still.
Still less than like a grid for a normal
Yeah,
light.
you can't put that in. If you just saw me stick that in my pocket, you're probably thinking, if you've ever used like tungsten lights, you would never be able to do that. Oh, thank you, Marissa. By the way, they make really big paper lanterns. They just didn't have any at the party store that was near me. If you go, Adorama used to sell them. Maybe they still do. If you just look for paper lanterns. But otherwise, you can get them at like specialty lighting shops. And you can get 20 and 30-inch ones. And actually, the image that is the thumbnail for this workshop, why is this not going in here? You hold the lantern part. I think I bent it. It was actually shot with one of the bigger paper lanterns. I did a video a few years back where I compared like the paper lanterns to like an actual like Chimera lantern. The Chimera lantern's better, clearly, but I'll tell you. Oh, the weight of it. Well, that's interesting. It'll hold for, yeah, we could, let's see, if it slips, we'll deal with it. If it slips, it'll fall and that'll be terrible. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Maybe this will protect it.
Probably not. I think it's fine. We take risks around here, but not too many.
Oh gosh. The person standing under the light, I don't know.
Right. It's always important when you put a light over somebody's head to use a soft light because it'll hurt less. Falls on their head, exactly. All right. So we're trying not to drop anything on Marissa's head during a live stream. I can't guarantee it, and I have.
After the live stream,
yes,
fair game.
Fair game after the live stream, exactly. All right. So step a little bit back so you're in the light more. And this way. All right, cool. Nice. Okay, so this light is brighter, so clearly. So let's jump over to our live view. And we actually see how much brighter that is. So now I can take my ISO and dial it down a bit to get a better exposure. Here we go. Now these are all from the same company. So they seem to have been consistent color-wise, which is nice. That's another tip for you there, is that if you're going to buy like cheap lights like this, let's do another one where I don't cut off quite as much of your head. But that was a really nice pose. I just need to put my camera a little taller. Sometimes Marissa's taller, and other times she's not. Depends on her mood. Good like that. Chin up a tiny bit. Good. Good. All right. There we go. What? You like the other one better? All right, we don't know. She made a face. Marissa made that unsatisfied sound. Good. Nice. Oh, hold on. It went to your eye. Good. It likes your other eye. There we go. Go. There we go. All right. So we can see here now that with the 300 watt light, yeah, you can see it, right? We're brighter. And we are crispy, and we've got that little bit of hint of red coming in, which surprisingly is not bad. The background has a blue tone to it because that light back there is a cooler color temperature. What is this? I don't know what's happening here. All right. Isn't Lamak spelled too good? I don't know, actually. Will the lanterns give you a consistent gold reflecting light? Huh. Well, if you had a gold lantern, probably, yeah. Yeah, whatever you put the light through is going to affect the color of your image, right? So I have a red lantern. It's giving us red on her face, right? We can see it there. And I have a neutral color, or a white lantern, that's giving us clean light on her face. I've adjusted the color temperature, remember, of my camera to match the light bulbs. Once they go through something else, like a lantern, the color will shift, obviously. The background light is clearly much cooler, probably closer to daylight, based on how blue it is. Let's see if they say. Let me look at the light and see if it says. It might say on the packaging. It does not say on the actual light. So I do not know, but it looks like it's closer to daylight. If you were unsure, one way to get an idea of the color temperature of your light is I'll do this. I'm gonna turn the live view back on so you guys can see. So we look at Marissa, and let's forget about the light that's on Marissa and let's just look at the background. If I take my color temperature, I'm in the Kelvin, and I just adjust it until the background looks neutral, which I think about there it does. So again, actually it'd probably be easier if we, and remember it's being mixed with other lights, but if we just look at the background now, we can see it's more gray. I adjusted my color temperature to 4,000. But now when I did that, she's looking much warmer. So if you're using lights that aren't from the same manufacturer or not the same kind of bulb, not necessarily the same power, but the same kind, you may run into this problem. And we're not using color correction gels because we're trying to do this all hardware store style. In fact, I was going to bust out a regular light, but I don't know if we need to. We're doing so darn good. We might have to. All right, so let's do one other thing, though. I do have these more powerful lights because we are shooting at 500 ISO, f4, 125. Let's see what happens if we switch over and use our more powerful light. Let's see what we can get for an exposure. You see how bright that background is. Now this light, of course, because I have two of them, it was a pack of two, is very bright, and it matches the color temperature of the background. So let's go over here. Also, these are battery powered and magnetic. So, I know, I should be like a rep for this company. I was honestly kind of surprised because most packaging and stuff lies. You get lights that are like super bright, and then you get them and you're just like, no, that's not very bright. I have a feeling it's really dark and you're looking at shadows, so I'm gonna do this. All right, so I'm gonna just move this stuff out of the way. So we can start here, clean. Grab another C-stand because, you know, they sell C-stands at hardware stores, right? Now this light has like a little handle. So I'm just gonna kind of hang it on here. Seems to work. Okay, this is gonna be bright, so don't look right at it. Yeah, this is gonna be real pleasant. All right. Interesting, all right. Now let's just see what we're getting with this. I'm gonna kill the overheads. Oh, wow. You're actually looking kind of ghastly. Okay, weirdly enough, when we look at her here, she looks really ghastly here, right? So let's, again, I'm gonna adjust my color temperature before I get too far into this. I'm just simply going in the Kelvin scale, and I'm just going into my, that's probably too much. I'm just gonna adjust it until it looks good to my eye. Now, we could shoot a color target, something like that, but I think for now, we're pretty good. I did not do that on purpose. For some reason, I've lost my, nope, ignore that. Why did I lose my? There it is, okay. Okay, I adjusted my shutter speed by mistake. I want to adjust my ISO, I guess I didn't press the button. Remember my ISO down. When you're in these situations, it's best to, I always try to keep my ISO low. This light is not flattering right this second, I just want to get an idea of what the color looks like, so I'm taking a shot. I can tell better on my screen than I can on the back of the camera. Okay, that's not terrible. Wow, it really makes your eye pop though, right? Okay, that's interesting. Hard light is not terrible, to be honest with you. You did a good job with your makeup. Gonna stop over with a coffee? All right, come by.
Yeah, bro.
Super bright and magnetic. Good for the car, exactly. Oh yes, thank you. If you are watching and you have not liked the video, please do so. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you should do that because lots of good stuff happens here. So many good things. All right, let's get back to that. All right, so that's pretty cool. Now, we do have power to spare here a little bit because we're fine at 1,500, 1,200 ISO, no problem. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bust out that parchment paper that I showed you earlier, and we're going to try to soften this up. Now, if we just put it in front of the light, it will just diffuse it, right? It won't make it softer. It will make it more diffused, which will make it more smooth under skin. So if we wanted to have like a hard light, but that was a little bit kind of creamier, for lack of a better word, we could do that. Let me just take a shot like that. It's going to absorb a little bit of light, but I think we're okay. I wasn't looking at the camera, so that may or may not be in focus. Oh wow, that absorbed a lot of light, actually. That absorbed way more light than I thought. Okay, that's like almost 2 stops of light. But we can see that what actually ends up happening is, let me make it brighter. So I know a lot of times people say, throw diffusion on the light, it'll make it softer, but it doesn't. It doesn't really change the quality of the light overall. It changes kind of the way that the highlight acts. See, here's the highlight in the diffused light. Here's the highlight in the non-diffused light. You see how it's bigger? That's really all that does. So anyways, that's a whole separate video at this point. What we're going to do here is we're not going to put it flat against the light because if we do that, it doesn't do much. We're going to make ourselves a larger source. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. We can hang it in front of the light, but I think just for simplicity's sake, Why can I never do that in the kitchen? I'm gonna take the light. I'm gonna bow it out like this, creating like a balloon. Again, we do lose some control when we do this. We're losing control. But you know what? Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. In this case, we're trying to create a nice kind of creamy big light, so we're not overly worried about if it's hitting exactly, you know, other places besides the main source. So when you put a light through something, that thing you put it through, just like with the Chinese lantern, decorative lantern, it becomes the source of the light, right? So now when we look through the camera again, we can see that, let me switch over to live view. We can see that obviously it's dark. I'm now gonna come back in and adjust my ISO to get a proper exposure. All right, come this way a little bit, closer to the light. Right there, not too much. Perfect, all right. All righty, here we go. Perfect. Now we look at this with comparison to this, and we can see that we've created the softer light, right? This is softer, harder, right? We can see the more texture of the skin. Here we see it's more diffused and softer. So it's also a little bit underexposed. So wow, that ate a lot of light, huh?
Yeah.
So it's funny, the crazy bright light, through the parchment paper is actually less powerful than the 100-watt light just coming through the lantern. So, but then here we go, we can create basically, so honestly, in that case, I would use except for the fact this is battery powered, the other option's better. It's cheaper and better. Setting color temperature only works if the light source is a continuous spectrum. If the light source is discontinuous, then the neutral gray card works better. Sure, that is true. Yes, you could definitely do a custom white balance. Texas big white dog used to raise alpacas. That's awesome. All right, hey everybody. All right, cool. So again, we're kind of back where we started, right? The parchment paper has warmed it up, making the background kind of bluish again, even with our adjustments. And we've got a relatively soft light on Marissa, which is very similar to what we had in the beginning. I'm going to be honest, I almost like this better. So there we go.
I like the color.
Yeah, I think the color's much better. And this is really good because obviously I haven't used any of this before, as you see me opening them up. And there's a really interesting point to be made here because one of the reasons why we use and buy pro gear and when I say pro gear, I'm not just talking about like Broncolor setups. I'm talking about Flashpoint, anything that's made for the task at hand, right? Made for photography, is because they are concerned with things like skin tone and the effect of how the color of the light looks on that. A work light doesn't care that your skin tone looks good. It just needs to be bright, which is what this Defiant light is. The light bulbs, on the other hand, that we started with are for rooms. They want your skin to look nice. So the lights are designed differently so that they can, and that has to do with spectrum and all this other stuff. So you're gonna have a better result out of the box, starting with lights that are designed for that purpose. So lights that go around a beauty mirror, stuff like that, they're gonna work better. You can do a custom white balance, and I guess we'll just do that to show you how we make this work. But I think in the end, you still get a better result the other way. I had my little guy. All right. So, for those who don't know, this is a digital target. There are many like it, but this one is mine. We use this one to get custom white balance. We can also use it to set exposure. Marissa's gonna hold it in front of her grill. I wanna make sure no other light except for the light I'm measuring is on, so I'm gonna turn that off. I'm going to photograph it. It doesn't need to be in focus. And ideally it would be properly exposed. It looks like it's a little dark, but that's fine. And then what we'll do is we're going to come over here and we're going to take our little pencil and we're going to go like this. And we're going to come back and, oh, it was dark because you had moved out of your spot clearly.
Oh, did I move forward?
Yeah, that's fine. And here we go. And here we get sad Marissa, but we get better color. So as the poster Kevin mentioned, this is the better way to do it, especially if you're dealing with lights that aren't a full spectrum. So if somebody read that comment and was like, what does that even mean? That's it, right? This is kind of cheating for us. So obviously, when you're lighting from the hardware store, make sure that you have a color card. You could use any number of cards. So just make sure it's for white balance and not for exposure. There are cards that are called, quote, gray cards. Can you not see it because I don't have it set right? That's true. Here we go. There are cards that are called gray cards, and they're for exposure, not for white balance. Make sure that they say they're neutral and that they're for white balance. But this is it right here. Again, you probably missed that whole process, but so I'll go through the whole thing. We started here, took a picture of that, and then we got that. So that's basically how you do a custom white balance in 3 steps. Cool. Kevin learned from me. Thanks, Kevin. It's a really good point. Sometimes that I gloss over. When you're watching these live streams or any videos that you see, please do ask questions or make statements because that's important. Sometimes when we're doing these demos, we just gloss over things, and that was a good point, Kevin, to mention that because not everybody watching would have understood. So that's the better way to do it. But again, buying lights that are designed for skin will get you closer right from the beginning. But I promised it.
Oh my gosh, oh my god.
I was at the dollar store and I remembered. I'm gonna tell you a story now. I like to tell stories. I had this friend years ago that used to do these fine art portraits, and they had this really beautiful kind of soft light. And one time I went to his studio, I was wondering what he used. He had got this pan from this like commercial bakery. It was like huge, like this big. And he drilled a whole bunch of holes in the back and he had a bunch of fluorescent bulbs in it. That's how he did it. And he created this and he used to call it the pan light. So this isn't, we're not doing that. But I was at the dollar store and I was looking at, and I walked by all these pans and I was like, hey, I can make a light out of a pan. And then I remembered that everybody asked me all the time, is this thing like a beauty dish? Is this thing like a beauty dish? Is this thing? So I said, you know what, I'm gonna build a beauty dish. And it is premiering here on Adorama TV for the first time only. Prototype, the Daniel dish.
The panuel.
The panuel. This is custom fit for a Profoto light, but I'll make them for other brands as well. Manufacturing costs are high, but I think I can get them in your hands pretty cheap. So I have a homemade beauty dish. We're gonna give it a shot. Show myself.
Your mom be like, no, Daniel, we have beauty dishes at home.
But I want the store-bought beauty dish. I'll make you one, don't worry. Yes, that's exactly what it is. So we are going to try to use this homemade beauty dish to create a picture. Now, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know, sorry I'm blinding you. Everything so far has worked really well. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't bode well because something has to not work, right? So here we are. We're going to try to use the panuel. And that's right, Seth has a multi-million-dollar reflector business from those reflectors he builds in Brooklyn. So this is Queens right here. All right. So I'm going to use a speed light for this because that's what I designed it for. Designed. You have to say words like designed because then it makes it sound like you're being serious about it. That's important. This was designed to use with the Profoto. I figure if you spent $1,000 on a Profoto flash, Maybe you might not have a lot of money left for accessories.
That's all you got.
So, so I'm only charging $500 for this. So you're going to be good. All right. All right. Oh, this is the kind of stuff that gets me in trouble. This is how we get in trouble. All right. So we're doing it at the end. All the management have stopped watching already, so we should be good. All right. If I'm never invited to be back on Adorama again, this will be my crowning moment. Oh my God. I hope I don't break it. This is their next product. This is it, the panuel. Now I haven't actually tried to put it on the light since I put the center part in. Oh my God.
This is like it's gonna look amazing just because it looks so janky right now. But I know that the light is gonna look amazing.
Now Marissa, it's honestly, if you showed up at a photographer's studio and
I'd be ready. I'd respect them more. I'd be like, that's respect.
That is epic. All right, Marissa's gonna fix her hair. I'm gonna hopefully not break the panuel before we use it the first time. All right, the mounting system is experimental. Orange gaffer's tape. Thanks for sticking with me through this.
Literally taped.
It's literally taped on. All right, no, I think it's gonna work. All right, I'm feeling pretty positive about this, guys. Honestly, I mean, let's think about it. It's a pan.
It's a pan.
It kind of looks like a beauty dish. Some people might think that it was a beauty dish. You honestly can't take yourself too seriously if you're using this light. So just be serious, just know that.
I think we should take ourselves the most seriously.
Yeah, this is a very professional light. All right, so here we go. We're gonna take, this is the first time ever, and I have not, I think people think I say that and they think I actually have done, and none of this have I tried before.
All right. Judging by the fact that you taped it and it fell, like.
All right, so we know from previous experience that if we set our camera at 200th of a second and at f5.6 and at 100 ISO, then we should get a black frame in here. So let's do a quick black frame. Turn this off. Oh. Okay. Alrighty, so, okay, black frame. Oh, back around. Okay, so here we are. Here we go. This is it. The panuel and the light strainer. All right, we got this. All right, Gavin, I'm in it with you. I'll send one out to you. All right. Custom fit.
To use for Christmas turkey. Use the panuel. Yeah.
You have to cook your Christmas goose in it first. If you cook the goose.
The grease is really.
That makes it, okay, here we go. All right. I don't even, oh all right, now granted the white balance is off because we didn't reset the white balance. That's a little sad. It's not terrible though. This is not terrible. All right, hold on, now we need a good shot because we're literally being shot here with, hold on, I gotta reset everything over here too. I'm gonna take a shot and then reset it. All right, here we go guys. This is the panuel in action, second photo ever.
Oh yeah, wait, I got the Lamica.
Oh, hold on, we can show the, hold on, I can't show the Lamica because I got, all right, let me back up.
Okay.
We don't know what the coverage is on the panuel yet. All right, this is it, this is the advertising campaign for the Lamica.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
Lamicon, okay, so now I gotta come in here and adjust this white balance. Hold on a second, guys.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
Unstoppable.
There it is. Honestly, the color temperature is not bad. This is
fashion.
All right, hold on. Wait. All right, yeah, okay, that's good. Get that Lamica up there. Yeah, boom. All right.
I think I blocked the light.
No, you didn't block the light. There is no way to block the panuel. So if anybody wants one of these, I'll put the QR code.
10 cents.
There's actually, There's actually more money invested in the tape that I used to put it on there than on the actual panuel. But you know, like, why did this work, right? Chicken catch light. Are you sure there's only coffee in the mug? Come on now, this is not terrible. Oh man. All right, I'm sending you one of these, Gavin. I got to see this in the video. All right, so let's see. Should we use a reflector? All right, you know, we're going to add the Brooklyn reflector just because. This one's for you, Seth.
That like doubles the production
Yeah,
value.
exactly. All right, actually, somehow you got taller again.
Oh, I think didn't you back up?
That was good. You're good. Oh, hold on. Good. There it is. The panuel.
Wow.
This is the reaction you will get from models if you take this out on a photo shoot. All right, so I'm gonna. I have my first order. Well, I'm gonna send it to Gavin for free because he's a very famous influencer. But so you can use it, a custom fit for the flash point. Let me know which light you're using, Gavin. And I'll put it, the one that's like you have the razor. I love that one.
Razor?
There's a light that looks like an old-fashioned electric razor. I don't think he uses that one though. He uses the one that's like a barrel bulb, I think. And we'll see a video from that next year. Okay, so this is the panuel. Make your own light. I don't know what I just said there. We went to the dollar store. Let me get back to where we started because this actually worked. I can't believe everything worked. I'm gonna do a Seth. All right, here we go. We're going full Seth on this one here.
It kind of suits us because we're janky but look good. Like these are our lights.
We're janky, but we look good. That's our motto. All right, so let's start at the beginning here. All right, so we got 100-watt LED bulb in a little tiny lantern with a hair light, with a background light.
The background with the red was really
Yeah,
good,
with the colored gel.
That looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. And then even this wasn't bad, really. It wasn't my favorite, but this guy.
Which guy?
Was that the one? No. Yeah, that was it. This one here would be this one, which is this one.
No, that was the LED.
Yeah. And once we fixed the color, it was okay. But honestly, I think in the end, we got a lot of fun stuff here.
It looks so good.
Whether you are, I'm not showing you anything. I tried to pull a Seth and I didn't even show it to you. It was terrible. I am terrible at doing this. Does it come with the custom grid? Sign it first. Nice. Signature range. Oh, Gavin, you're the best. All right, so we're definitely, the point being here, though, is that know your fundamentals, right? If you understand how light works and why it does what it does, you can make images with next to anything. Is it easier to use stuff that's pre-made for photography? Is it going to be more consistent? Yes, of course, right? But it doesn't mean that this isn't super fun just to mess around with and see if it's worth, doing something yourself. So for all those people that ask me, is it like a beauty dish? I don't know. Is the panuel a beauty dish? Maybe, maybe not. In any case, if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Follow Marissa.Roper. Not just Marissa Roper, that's somebody else. She's nice, but this is the one you want. I'm Daniel Norton. Gavin's in the chat here. Follow Gavin if you haven't already. And we'll see you actually next week.
Oh, yeah?
We'll be back next week. Not Marissa. Marissa's going to be off doing holiday stuff. But I'll see you next week. And I did a really good closer there, and then I'm not ready for it. Hold on. Pretend like I stopped already. Hold on. Let me get the thanks for watching thing up.
How does this stand?
There it is.